Okay, so we've finished our installation and we're just going to go about now checking to make sure that they work like we intend them to. So we've had a quick go at checking the latch and we're satisfied that there's no rattles. So the latch itself has been adjusted to hold the steps in a nice position. If you need to adjust that, it's about just letting that little nut go and then changing the length to suit. And they'll all be a little bit different because all these are handmade, so you will need to adjust it a little. Now, I'll just pop that in there. This is a nice place to keep it whilst you're not using it, or you can pop it back in and keep it out of the way. Now, the next part of this that's really important is that when you feel how this works backwards and forwards, you need to find a nice happy medium between the bolts being done up too tight and it being sloppy. And so the intention here is that it moves with minimal resistance, but it doesn't necessarily swing backwards and forwards. So it's a bit of a feel thing. But then the critical part of the operation and the safe use of these steps is going to be the pivot lock, which is this little 3-piece linkage in the back here. And you'll see here as this opens up that those little lock bars just fall in by themselves. And so this little guy and this little guy need to be done up so that they just flop in there nice and easily. And so now that will hold all the weight you would ever want to hope for. If, of course, that isn't done right and they're not in properly, then when you let them go, the steps will put themselves away. So it's going to be important that for the first few times you make sure you check that they drop themselves in there. And if you need to adjust the weight on these bolts, is to please make sure you do that. And then you'll have years worth of trouble-free service from these steps. Okay, so we've checked to see that our steps have been installed correctly, they operate nice and smoothly. And now the next part of making sure that we do this correctly is to operate them as we intended. So to open, we'll just remove that little safety clip, undo the latch, disconnect it, and away it comes. I can just pop that in to find a safe place for it. Now, I'll open this up. The little guys drop into the space they're supposed to. And now I'll get this step and fold it out. And again, you'll check the operation to see that it doesn't bind up and it's not too loose. While you're doing this, you can make sure that none of your nuts have dropped off, and you'll do the same thing again. That sees now that our steps are opened up and ready to go. Our faithful assistant now is going to give you a little trip up the steps.
Oh, right, okay.
There you go. Well, not a trip up the steps, a journey up the steps. And away they go.
No tripping now.
And back out again we come. Nice. So, come time to put your steps away, is that we need to do this again in a specific order, and that is to roll the bottom step up, roll the second step up, and now they're ready to go back under the caravan. Reach under here, lift that little pivot lock out and let it go. Move our clip, reach in forwards, do your latch up, reinstall your clip and you're ready to travel.